sir. Happy to see you guys.
That was good.
What's going on?
All right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So we know what we're here for, right?
Only thing we always hear for, anywhere for.
Content.
Absolutely.
Gotta feed the content monster, you know?
Yeah.
Gotta eat.
I mean, y'all know we want to reach more people. We want to talk to other individuals, and we also want to let people know what we do.
Yeah.
Right. So, I think this is a great avenue to give us a way to communicate without being too annoying. But I'm looking to have a lot of fun with y'all, having this conversation.
Fine annoying. I'm trying to be in their face.
Annoying would be like if you're trying to sell something, you know, like you just.
If they want to buy, who am I to stop them?
You always need that one guy there.
Yeah, right?
He's necessary.
Door-to-door salesman, right? So let's get right into it. We've been together for how long? About 3 to 4 years?
Yeah, about 3 or 4 years. I still remember the first project.
Like, essentially, I think it all starts just from like a natural, right? Like we all naturally wanted to get into this.
Yeah.
Right? I gravitated towards cameras and then film. You always been a writer. You always been in film as well, and just kind of like around that realm. I don't want to tell you guys stories, so you guys tell me your stories. Tell them.
Yeah, let Jordan tell his.
Oh, mine's pretty simple. Grew up in basically a cinephile house. Like a lot of this stuff, like the Shark Crazy was a lot of stuff my dad liked and considered personal favorites. As I got older, I realized they were universal favorites. So I was like, all right, this guy knows what he's talking about.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And, as a kid, you look at things and either want to enjoy it or be like it. Of course. I was always creative. I was like, I love movies. I want to make my own. You know what I'm saying? I started out writing short stories, the poetry, and now, doing film full time. And I love it, honestly.
What's up, Cam?
I didn't know I liked film I know I love film till like college. I got in college to do accounting.
Oh.
And then realized I hated it.
And that's why he's a producer.
Yeah.
Realized I hated it. Did some editing. Took over the film, the marketing tool for my church, and I loved it ever since. And I realized, looking back on my life, man, I've always never looked at film just at like what I've seen on the screen. I always questioned what was going on outside of that screen. How did they get to this part? Like, what did they do to get to the screen? How did they get the money together? How did they put the sets together? How to do everything?
Yeah.
That's what let me do the producer life. I'm trying to get the whole thing, all the elements together to put together what's seen on screen.
No, bro, like that's exciting. I actually just noticed your shirt, Hakuna Matata.
What a wonderful phrase.
Yes.
Probably top 5 phrases in film history. Gotta
Absolutely.
be. Like across all genres.
Ain't no passing craze.
Hard to say that though, right? Because we have so many situations now where people literally are like, I mean, it is what it is, right? Like we're much older than we were born in the 1900s, right?
Late
1900s. So when you think about it, like,
come on, man.
No, but think about this: how many people like truly experienced the Lion King you experienced?
Me and my peers.
And that's what I'm saying is that like it's becoming that
Less and less people.
Yeah, less and less people. And I mean, of course, I think the view of it is symbolic, right? Like you're gonna have people 4 years old see Simba getting held up, and they're gonna kind of get association, but they won't know probably the whole movie, you know, or
they don't know the impact of the soundtrack alone. The soundtrack alone went like diamond, I think, honestly.
Yeah.
Oh, it's still a banger.
Yeah.
Still a banger.
It is, and I don't know his name right now, but the guy that was on Smart Guy. Remember he sang the song, but even better than that,
forgetting his name, yes.
But even better than that, like remember the contract his mom signed for him.
Yeah.
Genius.
So he has residuals forever.
Shout out to
he doesn't have to work again.
Never. You know, because it's still
Marcus
such a great
from Smart
movie.
Guy. I know his name from Marcus from Smart Guy.
Yeah.
That's why I keep calling him.
He was in ATL.
We will remember you.
Yeah. But shout out to your hustle.
Put it right here. Marcus from Smart Guy, whatever his name is, right here.
Yeah, no, but I'm glad like we are getting to do this. Please forgive us if we come across a little rusty, but we really want to build this into something and eventually probably get to a studio.
Watch us polish this.
Yeah, exactly.
Watch the rest and watch us.
Yeah, see how the sausage is made, right?
Yeah.
Hey.
Right?
Yeah.
Damn.
That's on that guy.
Damn.
But no, I think you guys agree with me, right? Like we want to get to 100 episodes. We want to do everything, and also share this experience with everyone else. So I'm excited, man. I'm excited.
No. Same here. And we'll try to keep the topics fresh. You know what I'm saying? And keep them not too monotonous. You know what I'm saying? Try to talk about something like,
oh, it's film, baby. There's so much stuff in film.
It's so much, but I want people to listen to our episode and be like, I never thought about it that way. Yeah. Every episode.
Yeah. So essentially, we want to let people in on the set.
Yep. Cutting room floor, right?
Cutting room floor. Yeah. So I remember the other day, and one of the reasons we got this started was because we always talking about movies.
Always.
Right? We're always talking about movies. You guys like to nerd out on details. I will say that. You guys nerd out on details.
I mean,
I am who I am. Yeah. I can't help it. You enjoy something for so long, you eventually get into that lane. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
And I mean, I wish I could, but, you know, it is what it is, right? Like, I think I nerd out on technicalities. Fair enough, right?
Definitely.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
You know, we talk so much about it that it's like now we have to start figuring out other ways to say things. Right?
Yeah.
And I think the topic we were talking about was like, what is your favorite non-horror scary movie? Like, what movie gave you the scary feeling that wasn't a horror movie?
Wasn't a horror movie, yeah. Oh.
So.
Sorry.
No, go ahead, bro.
So there's a laundry list of those, but one that sets itself apart from the rest, and I saw it when I was probably like a older teenager, 18, 19, maybe even 20, is a Requiem for a Dream.
that movie.
Oh my God. First of all, shout out to Marlon Wayans.
How you ever watched that movie twice is beyond me.
More than twice. More than twice. But
That's beyond me.
I get it. Like, if you don't know what it's about, it explores addiction in 3 different ways. And literally, it turn regular addictions that people had. I'm like, oh my gosh, I will never pick up a cigarette. I won't pick up a beer. It was more than that. I don't want to get too much into it, but it just showed the awful road that it brings you down, the person it turns you into, and like it's very graphic with the scenes because he wants to get a message across. Shout out, the director is Darren Aronofsky, and he has another movie called Mother. Check that out. That's a whole nother subject.
Which part scared you?
When he had to get his arm severed off. Yeah, that was...
Spoiler alert.
Yeah, sorry, spoiler alert.
Can you put that on the screen, please?
Yeah, so...
Spoiler alert in 5.
But if you haven't seen it by now, F you. You're waiting too long.
Yeah. Similar to Lion King.
Yeah, like I said, it dealt with addiction. He did heroin too much. His wound became grossly infected, and they had to cut his arm off at the elbow. And I was like... I'm a teenager. Like I think I grew up watching Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers. I'm like, this is real life. That's why it's terrifying.
Yeah,
this can happen to you or your friend.
It can happen to any of us.
And he didn't have insurance. If he had health insurance, he could have got it treated. He didn't. Exactly. It got worse.
Here you go with PPO and DMO.
Right. Universal haircut. I'm just saying, if he had that. Yeah. Like he would have got it treated, would have been okay. But
he went from stealing his mom's TV to being handicapped. That's a sharp dive.
Like, you know what that reminded me of was as you mentioned, it was 127 hours.
Oh, I still haven't seen that.
Scene?
I didn't want to see it, man. I don't want to see a whole movie about a man chopping his arm off. That's crazy.
No, I get that. It was insane. I'm surprised you haven't seen it because of you. You're just such a movie buff.
I know. Side note, we're going to compile a list of movies we haven't seen that we should have. Continue.
I got you. Shut up. But essentially, it's like this guy just goes out and he's I guess like hiking, right?
Or rock climber.
Through rock climbing, those type of things. He's out in nature, essentially. And he gets caught up and eventually has to remove his arm. I mean, it's an unfortunate situation, but like that was the first thing that came to mind because it's in the vein of not being a horror movie. Mm-hmm. It really happened. The guy is still alive now, but the idea of having to do that is crazy.
But like when I pull my nail off too far and the skin get caught, I can't handle that. This man had to cut. No, I get that. That should be, unless you're like an adrenaline junkie, that should be terrifying to the normal human.
Absolutely.
I agree.
Absolutely.
Mine, what movie really scared me was Green Mile.
Another one I haven't seen.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Green Mile?
Most people have like sad,
I feel
feel compassion.
inspired by a Green Mile.
Nah, I didn't because I watched it as I think I was 12, 13. I was way too young to watch this, but watching it anyway. I'm like, this big black dude, like, why is he seems so nice. And, you know, he's, as a young person thinking most things are black and white, that he's in jail, he must have done wrong. But as it goes on, it's like, I don't think he should be in there. Mm-hmm. And I'm watching that, looking at my skin. I'm like, that's a real,
yes,
I see the horror.
that's
now.
a real
Absolutely.
possibility. Like, I could end up in jail for something I had no business doing.
Yeah.
I know, but he tried to save little girls. They thought he killed them.
Yeah.
And spoiler alert. And he ended up in prison. I'm looking at myself like, yo, that can happen to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And to add on to that, when I learned about the youngest person ever executed by electric chair, it was a little black boy.
Yeah.
I'm looking like, yo, this is crazy.
Tough.
And the last part where they're about to put a hood over his face and said, I scared boss. I'm like, what?
Yeah. This dude's huge. Why is he speaking like this?
I was
Like,
sad
Not
and
even,
scared.
like, I'm thinking of, when you said that line, it made me think of George Floyd.
Oh yeah.
Like you think, oh, he's
Yeah.
6'something, he's 2
Yeah.
something, like he's supposed to be this big strong, but what did George Floyd go to? He wanted his mom.
Yeah, his mom.
Yeah.
You get what I'm saying? So it's like
Yeah, that's
that
true.
misconception of like the big black man and then it becoming like
And in that moment,
as
knowing
if
that,
he's not a human.
Yeah.
knowing for a fact that you did nothing wrong, and
That's
your
it.
life is being taken away from you, and like, why is this happening?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you're confused, like, oh, that's me as a little boy, like thinking, you know, you do wrong things, you go to jail. But he didn't do anything wrong. Why is he going to jail? Why is he dying? What is happening? Why is he going through this? And learning throughout the movie that he has the power to keep people alive and, you know, keep taking people's ailments away throughout the movie. It's like, this guy should set him free.
he should
Tell
be a
everybody
national
about
hero.
this. Yeah, exactly.
But like what like give people background, because again, we might be speaking to an audience that's 12 right now. You never know. And they've never even heard of Green Mile. But what was the setting? What was the setting of Green Mile?
So it's like Jim Crow era.
There you go.
South, I think Mississippi. This guy was convicted of killing these 2 little girls, which is why he went directly to jail. They found him in the woods with 2 bloody little girls, holding them, crying, and saying, I wasn't able to save them, wasn't able to save them.
Yeah.
They don't understand. All they see is black men, little girls, go to jail.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
throughout the course, they realize he has the power to take people's ailment and let it out.
Yeah.
So he did that for the officer, took his enlarged prostate. He's able to pee again, able to heal a mouse
Yeah.
to bring him back to life. And that's what he was trying to do with little girls, and he couldn't do it.
And he happened to be caught in that area.
And
I
the
think it
twist was in that jail cell was the guy who actually did it.
Oh yeah,
And
yeah.
that
yeah.
was like, he's right there. No, the person did it. He should be free.
Yeah, that's a level of
So
frustration.
it's just confusing and just fear. Like the end was just a culmination like that. This culminated in fear for me.
Yeah, no, I get what
I
you're
mean,
saying.
look who wrote it. That's a Stephen King novel. Like,
Oh, Stephen
Yeah, it
King,
is.
yeah, it's a Stephen King novel.
writer,
Like, he
great
don't
writer.
play about scaring you. Even if he scares you for a
One of
second,
the very
it's
few
gonna
King
Yeah.
novels that went off well as a movie.
Yeah, true.
For me, it's got to be, and like you said before, Jordan, it's a laundry list of these.
Laundry
but
list.
No Country for Old Men.
You know who that should scare? That should scare scumbags.
Yeah.
It should scare scumbags.
What are you trying to say about me?
I don't know what you do if you
No,
found
the reason why
a
it
briefcase
scares
of
me
money.
another reason why I say it's a long laundry list is it's that guy or creep, whatever you want to,
this entity
that doesn't run,
Yep.
has no
Sugar.
fear, seems like he cannot be unalived.
Yep.
His last name is Sugar. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah, and even the gentleman who
Guy
played
named
him,
Sugar.
it's so crazy because I saw him in other roles. I saw him in a role where he was like a cocaine guy, like he was selling for like South America, and it was so different. Like you're
Yeah.
talking about from
Javier
No
Bardem.
Country,
Yeah.
from No Country being like this stealth,
Yeah.
like murderer with like a Beatles haircut. Like, it was crazy how
No,
he
that was
looked
a
also.
bowl cut.
Bowl cut,
He's
yes.
always acting his ass off. He is.
Yeah, that's what I'm
special
saying.
actor.
Yeah.
So, like...
He was also a mother. He played...
Yeah.
You know.
He was in a kids movie, Lyle Crocodile. I watch kid movies sometimes. And he was good in that. He was acting circles around everybody. It's clear who the professional Oscar-winning actor was.
Yeah, so that's what I mean, man. You got those people who just like...
Yeah.
His intent was probably to make an action thriller. But
it's
demeanor
like
came
action
across
horror.
like, yo, I don't ever want to mess with this guy.
Yeah, and then
You know what I mean?
then his specialized shotgun was just, you know, over the top. By the way, if you're wondering, it can't happen. That the shotgun for No Country for Old Men.
Was it
Oh,
shotgun?
you mean the type of shotgun? That...
Yeah, they can't happen.
A muffled silencer.
You can't put a silencer on a guy. But what I liked about it is that it was practical. They didn't laden it with CG. You don't need a CGI the desert. You don't need a CGI money. You know what I'm saying?
You want this shit to feel real.
Real. Because after a while, it's like, that gun exists. I'm going to buy it. You know what I'm saying?
So you say that.
Yeah.
So what would you prefer? Would you prefer CGI or practical? Like, what to you looks better? Because especially nowadays, like, it's a real competition between both. What's up?
So I'm kind of split between the two, but I'm going to alley-oop with the who because I know you have a solid yes or no answer, like one or the other. Because I'm a big Marvel fan.
Okay.
And Marvel can't be practical. I'm sorry. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I'll mull it over, but I know you have
Bro,
an
it'd
answer.
take 5 years to shoot movies in Marvel.
No, it would be ridiculous. Ridiculous.
It'd be a lot of strings.
Yeah,
a lot of
breaking. Remake the city. Like,
yeah, right? Action figures flying through. I don't know.
like-
But I would say, you know, I'm subjected a lot to practical because of where we are, you know. Like, it's not like we have access to millions of dollars like Hollywood, but I would say CGI has definitely been something that's intriguing to me. And the closest I would say I got to it was I used to watch Walking Dead. And when they would do those big overcasting scenes of just like zombies walking, and they would do, they had shows that would be like, that covered the show. So I was watching the show that covered the show. Talking Dead, yeah. And they would go into that booth with like the CGI guy, and they would also have scenes of him on set so you could get an idea of the set.
Okay.
And then once basically he layered it, and granted, I know they made the layering look like, oh, 1, 2, 3, just bake the cake. Like it was easy, you know, but I'm sure it was much more difficult than that. But just watching that and the emphasis, because now I'm watching it post-episode, but during the episode, I see them running through this forest, and then they look left, they look right, they run out of camera, and the camera starts to raise, and you see 15,000 zombies.
Yeah,
You
that's
know what I'm saying? That's
an
something
ill
that
shot,
practically could be very difficult to pull off with 15,000 extras.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
So, but of course, you know, financially it could be the same cost.
True.
You know, because the hours it takes to build that landscape for the CGI. So I would say I'm open to both. I'm not cutting off anything, but practical is where I'm at. So like I'm gonna go with practical more often. And if I could pull back, and I think I want one of you guys to speak on this too, would be like, we know what that practical element brought in the early 90s.
Oh,
You know?
absolutely.
Just like, even though we knew it was animatronics and it would just sway left and right,
Yeah.
or whatever, but the goop they put on it and the hair elements and the fact that they really took their detail with like the face, like I think that created a lot of scare that like we don't know if we want it anymore. Because it got taken away and brought right to CGI, brought right to studio.
Oh, there's no like transitional area.
Yeah, like the most you get now is like people, like physical people will put makeup on.
Yeah.
But the big monster now is probably a digital act.
Because I grew up in the 90s, I always lean towards practical. Jurassic Park is always the first one that pops in my head with animatronics and everything.
Correct.
Because that dinosaur to this day blows my mind.
That's the king of CGI.
Wait, what do you mean?
Jurassic Park. Like that's like
I thought that was
the
considered
Mendoza
practical.
line. There's a lot of practical, but CGI, that's when like it took a major leap. Like, oh, it's practical. We're able to do CGI at this scale.
Oh, okay, I get what you're saying.
I see. Yeah.
All right, well, you want to talk about pure practical. This movie came out in 1969, and I just finished it recently. I think he knows what I'm going to say.
Hold on, so you telling me right now
Yeah, I started watching it in 1969.
You're 55 years behind on this film right now.
And it's not the only film of its type. 2001: A Space Odyssey.
Oh, okay.
Rest in peace to Stanley Kubrick. I think he's a magician or a warlock because
I
that
ain't
don't
gonna
make no.
He refused to do
sense.
CGI. Refused.
It's ridiculous, dog.
Yeah.
It's really ridiculous. Every set piece, even down to the food they were eating. I don't know if you remember eating like paste, like green paste was peas, brown was meat. Everything, every single detail. Remember when he was running on the revolving thing? I'm like,
they had a
this came out
set.
when?
Yeah.
My dad wasn't even a teenager when this came out.
He is. If you look up Stanley Kubrick and what he does to get his shots, he is a true maniac when it comes to getting the right shot.
No, absolutely, absolutely. And even a little after that, something like Ghostbusters, the big puff man, I forgot his name.
Marshmallow guy?
Stay Puft.
Yeah, Stay Puft, the marshmallow guy. That was practical. It was a model. Yeah, forced perspective, exactly.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
Yeah, I like stuff like that. Blade Runner, the cityscapes were practical. They did that by hand, painted the windows and see, I like that stuff. But however, like I said earlier, I love Marvel, and so that's why CGI is necessary. Bro. You know what I'm saying? You have your bad Marvel movies, but the fact that we get to enjoy this universe like this, you can't deny CGI.
I agree.
If I would make a jump in this conversation, I would have to say I like practical. And the better CGI gets, I think the more I like practical. Because
I can respect that.
When you look at a macro view of it, it's just time on either end. Either you pay the people beforehand the time to make the art beforehand, or you pay the people to get the right computer generated image afterwards.
Yeah.
But for me, seeing people taking the time to not even drawing the character and people putting on the prosthetics and the artists getting the fine details, they get better with it every single year.
Yeah.
And one of my favorite people in film is Jim Henson. And he was when it comes to animatronics, he was the standard.
No pun intended.
Like everybody looked to him to get the animatronics right. Even recently, when I was watching the BTS of Dune that's coming out, the Dune 2, how they put the whole thing on Christian Bale. They put that big suit on him. I thought he was a CGI suit, but he had a whole prosthetic suit on him. They coupled that with the CGI.
It reminds me of like when people. Sorry to cut you, but like it reminds me of like when people. What's the famous actor that goes into his role too deep?
Daniel Day-Lewis.
Daniel Day-Lewis. Yeah. Those kind of guys.
Yeah.
Like I know that's not practical CGI, but I'm just saying like that original
prosthetics.
Approach.
Prosthetics is practical.
But I'm saying just taking the approach where it's like you want it to be as close to authentic as possible.
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely, yeah.
But as we evolve, and I mean certainly as we see where technology is going, it feels like CGI is just going to continue and lead that way.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we see it now with like CGI. What is it? AI. You know, it's getting to the point where I think the other day I was reading an article where someone said they're just going to type something in and it creates an entire movie.
Oh yeah, yeah. We were like a day away from that happening. Like honestly. Yeah.
But it's like if I'm watching that and I'm watching that on Netflix and I have a choice between that and a practical, let's say practical being the film made by hand, like that's where we might start to go. And then if let's say films are 30, 40, 50% CGI, like how much of this is actually real film at this point, you know?
Yeah. I mean, the realest part is the camera and the writing and the actors.
Yeah.
Like
in the award.
Yeah.
That's the real thing.
I want to see somebody like bring up an Oscar award and start glitching.
Yeah, right.
Thank you.
But
as much as you trash CGI, honestly, I can guarantee you there's also a laundry list of films you've seen as a kid that you wish had CGI. Because some of those effects were just
on that one because
though. It's a hindsight thing. The
one I like now had too much. Well, my choice. Because when I was a kid, it was the greatest thing ever. I watched it we rented it, I watched it 5 times a day. And it's Space Jam. It was the greatest thing ever when I was a kid. It came into the Blockbuster, I rented it, and it was like, this is the great, look, it's Bugs and Michael Jordan.
Yeah.
And I watched it back, and I was like, I know too much of this movie, and it's terrible.
Yeah.
Michael Jordan was not good at it at all. It was terrible.
Didn't they have a special sleeve too? Like a special cover for the VHS?
I don't know. I just had the Blockbuster.
Okay.
I rented it. But it doesn't hold up well. It's not a good movie.
Yeah, no, honestly.
And everybody's saying it's like looking back at when we done with the 90s. It's like looking back, you thought they were the greatest basketball players ever.
Yeah.
Comparing them to basketball now, looking back down, it's like, oh, this is not good.
Man, them boys looking slow, turns,
For
bounce
real.
pass, everything, bro.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But yeah.
It's funny I bring that up because the movie I was going to mention had nothing to do with CGI. It had a lot to do with ethics and boundaries. You remember Blank Check?
Oh,
You remember Blank Check?
Got me on that one.
Because it was so long ago, I even forgot that kid actor's name.
Inflation too.
Inflation, that's another thing. He for some reason he found a blank check that belonged to this millionaire and he wrote $1 million on it, right? And he cashed it out, and he's living the kids. It's like Home Alone on crack. Remember Home Alone New York when he had the limo and the pizza?
Yeah.
It's like
This
just
is the height
that.
of luxury.
Exactly. This is the height of luxury. But there's a scene at the end. So throughout the whole movie, of course, he has his love interest and everything. But she's older. I think he's like, he did something where like he was in the company and he's hitting on an older woman. He's not happy because he's a child. And at the end, she gave in and kissed this kid.
Didn't she think he was older and then finally he was younger?
Or
and she
something
Is this the
like
90s or
this.
the
Is
80s?
no, the 90s and the 80s were unhinged. I'm trying to tell you. So I think that's what it was. Viewers, forgive me, but I think that's what it was. And she found out that he was like 12 or 13.
Yeah.
And this is basically on some, here's that kiss you always wanted. He's 13.
I mean, when we were 13, I'm like, yeah, but she's
Exactly,
blind. You grew up and like, yeah, that's not okay.
But like,
super irresponsible.
you're a victim. Like, you were preyed on. Like,
Well, for me, and I think you're talking about like cringe movies, right?
no, more so stuff you saw as a kid like this is amazing, and you saw it as an adult, this is amazingly bad.
It doesn't hold
All
up.
right, so don't hate me for this. You mentioned basically it. Me is Home Alone.
What? No.
Yeah, I think I might have watched. I think I might have watched it too many times, bro. Because I'm just like, there's no way I'm getting hit in the face with a paint can. There's no way my legs are gonna be above my head, bro. I am coming in and I am robbing this house. So like to me, the cringe comes in. Like even scenes when he's in the house with the and they're dead. It's it's starting to become that. But I think it's age.
Why do they keep trying to murder this kid?
That too.
Just rob the house. Why do you have to tag a murder charge
The house
on
is
it?
on the list. They should have said, "Oh, somebody's in here. Let's move on to the next."
Even more than that. No,
Murder him.
No. Even
Like,
more
that's
than
the only
that.
option.
Your parents, bro. Like,
Yeah.
super
That
irresponsible.
was wild.
Like, just
So somebody paused it. There's a scene of them throwing his ticket in the trash. Did you see that?
Yeah.
Remember they were in
beginning.
in the kitchen eating pizza and drinking milk. Like somebody threw.
because we all do that.
Yeah, exactly. That's
That's
a normal thing. Somebody spilled something and it got on the stuff, and somebody threw like the whole counter into the trash, and his ticket was in there.
That's one of those don't think too hard movies, because when you start thinking harder, like, wait,
yeah.
like
No,
what
great
is
for the 90s, though.
Oh yeah.
Don't get it twisted. Great for the 90s. But I think
Absolutely.
as we get into the 24s, it starts
That-
to
you
become
know,
a
We
little-
weren't thinking in the 90s. That's basically what.
Yeah.
I ain't gonna lie. I gotta
We were just living.
It's like, don't right in your face with the
We
paint.
done with the 90s. We done.
It definitely gave that man tetanus. When he
Yeah,
stepped
yeah.
on-
So- oh, with those nails.
Oh Lord! All right, that was
the
genius though.
hand. The hand.
Yeah, the hand on the
doorknob.
door. That was genius.
He electrocuted him with a live wire.
And that man hit an octave scream that I haven't heard in my life. Like,
I have every time I hear it, I have in my mind.
I can't even duplicate it. Like I've never heard a human scream that way. Like,
Yeah, it's pretty
It's one of
bad.
my all-time favorite screams.
yeah.
It's really bad.
They should
but-
make it a Wilhelm scream. That'd be dope.
But no, fellas, this was awesome. I
No,
think
it definitely
this
was.
great. I think this first episode definitely went really well, man. I appreciate y'all boys as well.
No, likewise. You know the feel is mutual, bro.
If anything, y'all, like we said, we want to keep this coming. We want to keep going. We want to keep giving y'all more information. Y'all support us. We appreciate y'all. And if anything, we'll see y'all on the next one.
Deuces.